Hello everyone, this is Harsh and you are watching WPF World. In this chapter, we will learn about exception, what is the exception, how to handle the exception, and also we will create user-defined exception. So without wasting time, let's get started. In C#, exception is an error which is thrown at runtime. All exceptions are derived from system exception class. We can handle the runtime error. If we don't handle the exception, it prints exception message and terminates the program. What is exception handling? The process of handle runtime error is called exception handling. We perform exception handling so that normal flow of execution can be maintained even after runtime errors. The advantage of exception handling is it maintains the normal flow of application. In such case, rest of the code is executed even after exception. How to handle the exception? In C#, we have 4 keywords to perform the exception handling. Try keyword, catch keyword, finally keyword, and throw. Here I will create one variable int a and b. Okay. Here I will initialize a to 10 and b to 0. Now I want to get the result of division of a and b. So I will set d equal to a by b. Okay. We can't divide any number with 0. Otherwise it will give error. But it will give runtime error. Okay. Let's run and see. You can see here exception unhandled, right? System.divide by 0 exception. Attempted to divide by 0, right? This is called the exception which came at runtime, right? Now, how to handle this exception? If we continue this, then it will close the application. Okay. Now, how to handle the exception? We know if we divide the value and if sometime value of b is 10, then it will give the error at runtime, right? So, we can have this statement inside the try block. Okay. Like this, we can keep. And now we have the catch keyword, and inside that we have exception type, and I will say E. And now I want to write the exception. So I will use console dot write line. Okay. E dot message. Okay. Now as we handled here using the try catch block, so the program will not terminate. It will execute next statement after this exception is caught. Okay. It will print the message of the exception. Now let's run and see. It is executed, right? And you can see the message attempted to divide by 0, which is this. Means this exception is caught inside the catch block and it printed the message. Okay. Now sometime we need, even it fail, we want some statement to execute. In that case, we will use the finally block. Okay. Here I will write the message finally block. So in that case, when the exception occur, this statement will execute. This finally block help us in closing the file or closing the connection of database. When we are working with some file or database, then we can use the finally block. At the time of insertion, if there is some error and it fail, then it will not close the connection, right? In that case, we can use the finally block and then we can close that connection even if exception occur. Okay. Now let's run and see. Means this finally block will execute every time even exception occur or not. Let's see the output. See. This is catch block and this is finally block, right? This is how we can use try catch finally block. Now if we don't want to catch this one, then we can remove this and it will work. It will only execute the finally block. Here we don't have catch block, right? So we can handle the exception using try catch block only or try catch finally block, or we can have multiple catch block here. Okay. Like this is one catch, this is another catch, right? So here I will specify the specific error which is divide by 0 exception. Okay. So this class is the catch with exception class object, should be the last catch block. Okay, so like this we can handle the exception. Now we will learn how to create on exception. So I will create the one class called age exceptions. Okay, as you know, every exception derived from exception class, right? So we have to derive this whenever we are creating our own exception. Like this we will have. Now we will create the constructor, and here we will pass the message of the exception, and we will call the base class constructor with this message. Okay, now how to use this age exception? So here I will create one variable called age, and here I will give 10. Okay, now I want to check if age is less than 18, then throw the exception. We have throw keyword here, throw new object of age exception. Okay, like that we can throw, and here we will have message invalid age. Okay, like that we can throw. Now how to handle this exception? So to handle this, we know exception will occur here, so we can have this statement inside the try block, and we will have the catch block here. Here we can pass our own exception. This catch block will catch this exception. Okay, now let's run and see the result. Now see, this is invalid age, right? But if we don't handle this, then our program will terminate with exception. Now let's remove it. Let's run. See, there is error called invalid age. Right, now if we continue it, it will close application. I hope you understand what is exception, how to handle the exception, and how to create on exception. That's all for this video. If you found this video helpful, let's share with your friends.